iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Kapil, welcome to iHeartRadio Broadway.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So first and foremost, two things. Congratulations on season 2. I'm a true fan of the show, so congratulations.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we're really grateful we got another season, get to do it again.
And also, today the Golden Globe nominations came out, and your co-star Jane Levy got a nomination for the show.
Well deserved. She is incredible. Just the nuance and the care and that she puts into this role, and the blood, sweat, and tears that she puts in. I mean, I see it, and I'm so happy for her. I just texted her this morning. I'm sure she's being flooded with messages and stuff. But yeah.
So speaking of that, I've had the opportunity to interview a few of your castmates. You all seem like just this really strong unit together. The camaraderie seems to be really strong with you all. I know you all film in Vancouver together. So what is it like with this cast? Are you guys all mates? Is it all just a blast to be together?
It's theater camp. It's the best thing ever. It's theater camp, but professional theater camp, where like we get paid to be here, and you're like, it's not like your mom and dad are paying for your summer thing. It's like, we're paying to be here. Like, you're paying us? That's amazing. And we get to make this beautiful show, and so many of us are like theater kids, like originated and started our career from the theater. So we geek out about a lot of Broadway and plays and all that kind of stuff. And we're always like singing songs on set, and like, and we actually literally had our first sort of cast bonding. We did the Heads Up Broadway trivia. And I think Andrew Leeds and Skylar Aston were the best at that.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, for sure. Like, by far. So
I'm surprised Alex Newell wouldn't be in that category too, though.
I think I was surprised. I was surprised. I think maybe the particular rounds. I think, you know what? Maybe Alex was, but like maybe he was a little bit quieter. I don't know. I don't remember.
So with you in particular, you have a background in theater. You've done a lot of theater out in LA. So when you decided to kind of audition for Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, what was it like when all of a sudden you're auditioning for a show that's so heavy with the singing and the dancing? Were there any trepidations with going into that audition?
I did a lot of musical theater. I started off in musical theater. My first ever musical theater role was in high school, where I played Charlie Brown in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Everybody says to me, like, I was that guy. And then I played Zoser. So all
right.
So I did a lot of musical theater, but the dancing was always really, really challenging for me. I did Bollywood and Bhangra dancing in college. I always wanted to be like, I want to know how to like do Indian dancing, and I'm Indian. And so that was my sort of like foot in the door of the dance world. But the dancing that Mandy has us do here is insane.
Yeah.
And the timeline, like even in a Broadway play, and you get like months to like work on something, and then you change it, this and that, and then finally we choreographed a number on Wednesday, rehearsed it Thursday, and we shot it Friday as a one-up, as in like we had to get it down pat because the whole thing was going to be one sweeping shot. And it's like a 2-minute song, and I'm like, this is crazy. I'm doing all these like insane things with my feet, and so usually, I mean, I'm in my apartment where I'm like dancing and playing the music. My neighbors love me, and so there's a lot of like, when we're at home, we have to like rehearse and get it all down really, really quickly, and rehearse, get it down, and then so we're good the next day. The first season was really tough because the speed of it, but by now, like, I know what's expected, and I know it's just in my body of the speed of which I need to learn things. So
did you Did you ever expect your career to take the trajectory of having to learn and perform Mandy Moore choreography?
Never in a million years. I'm a comedy guy. I'm a scripted comedy dude. I thought my start was going to be on a 30-minute multi-cam sitcom, and all of a sudden I'm thrown in this world where I've always been able to sing. I'm releasing an album, self-plug. But
Well, let's talk about that. I want to know more about that.
Oh, I'm releasing a blues rock album.
Okay.
I'm teaming up with some Nashville artists. I'm working with one of Blake Shelton's songwriters, and we're doing like a blues rock album. Again, stuff that like country. I never listened to country growing up, and all of a sudden, I find myself in this world of like folk and blues rock, and mixed with a little bit of country, and it's like I'm doing things I never thought. I mean, I listened to like hip hop and rap growing up, and like alt rock, like punk, Green Day, and now I'm in this whole different world. I mean, it's pretty wild where the show has sort of taken me, because like I was actually approached by Jennifer Aiden, which is her name, and who's Blake Shelton is one of his songwriters, and then like I was in that world and we started writing, and I'm like, I love this, I really love this style, so now I'm doing that.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
So with Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, you play Tobin, and how would you describe Tobin as a character?
Tobin is unapologetically in his own world.
Yeah.
He is abrasive with redeeming qualities.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so fun to play him, because it's like I need to know that the heart is in the right place. But just someone who, through the course of society and how he has like been brought up, who he has hung out with, he has been misled a little bit. But the redeeming part is like you always know that deep down inside he's really sensitive and
Mm-hmm.
find his way back.
He's a little obsessed with being a typical bro, but a bro with a heart is how I've always described Tobin.
Yeah, he likes the idea of being a bro more than he actually is a bro.
Yeah.
And to peel away the layers of that societal masculinity that has been like thrown on him as to how he fits into the world,
Mm-hmm.
the more it's like it's fun to play that, because it's like, how do you show enough cracks of that sensitivity, but then the conflict of like pushing it down, like, no, I can't, you know what I mean?
But he's also someone who can bring someone back to reality in the best way possible. Like he's going to be that voice of reason to go, no, you really need to stop. Like he's that person too.
Absolutely. I think yeah, I mean for Tobin, I think he has so much to say, and he's so intelligent, and that he picks his moments.
Yeah.
And he picks his moments, and he does it through humor, right? He's the guy who can actually surprisingly read a room really well,
Mm-hmm.
and know how to act through it.
He's
right?
also the one that's going to say, my bad. Yeah, totally screwed up. My bad. He'll own up to his mistakes too, which I think is actually kind of cool and multi-layered to Tobin.
Totally. It's not like he's he's not like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm never wrong. But
yeah.
He won't apologize for being himself. He'll apologize for doing something messed up. Which is why it's such a joy to be able to like work on that, and always play of like, okay, what's going on in this person's head right now?
Yeah. So do you have a favorite musical moment that Tobin has been a part of so far in either season 1 or season 2?
Yeah, it's one in season 2, and it's I don't want to give too much away, but it's coming up, and you get to really understand. We're talking about the cracks and the sensitivity and where it all comes from. I mean, in a really big way,
Yeah.
you'll get to see why he is the way he is. And you can judge and decide whether you're like Team Tobin or like, oh, okay, maybe I see that and like I'm actually not for that. Or you can be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Um,
I will say I have had the great honor of already seeing next week's episode, and it is one of the best episodes so far of both season 1 and season 2. It comes with so much heart and understanding, and I think the way the message is dealt with beautifully. And I think between Tobin and Simon, everyone is going to walk away from this episode going, wow.
I think, especially in this story, we're talking about race. And I think that Hollywood has gotten the issue of handling race wrong for half a century.
Yeah.
So we all felt this sort of sense of pressure when we were tackling an episode on race. And which is what this episode is on. And because it's like, okay, I'm putting my name on this. And John is like, yeah, we're putting our names on this. So we felt this, other amount of pressure. It's like we've seen stereotypes poison minds because of Hollywood. And we're here trying to tell a story that can really help facilitate these hard conversations. And so next week's episode, I'm really excited for people to see how Black and brown people can support each other, how Black and brown people can maneuver and go through the workplace in what they consider predominantly white space. There's a lot of really tough topics of conversation that we're talking about next week. And I'm really excited for everyone to get to see that, because it's not only just that, but we get to see the characters and how they move through that. The characters that you've watched for the last season and a half deal with this really tough issue. So,
but I also think the lovely thing about the writing for this episode is Tobin still gets to be Tobin in this episode. He deals with it a lot with humor and kind of stepping back a little bit, going, I'm not this guy. But then something triggers, something happens, I'm not going to give it away, and we do get to see you have your own solo breakout moment in this episode. And then we get to see you in a Tobin, not you, but Tobin in a new light. But again, still being Tobin in the best way possible.
Yeah, he'll always be Tobin.
Yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden he's this other guy now that he has handled or like has not handled isn't the word, but has come to terms with where he stands on a certain issue. He's still gonna be Tobin, which is why it's so like, oh my God, now we're talking about race and then all of a sudden this is a whole new character. No.
Yeah.
Which is what is so interesting about watching this episode, because you're like, how is this character gonna go through this? We've never really seen this character talk about this. So how in character is this person gonna move through this space? Because the thing is, it's like, I know a few Tobins, and that was what was so interesting for me as an actor to play in this episode, is because how does this character move through this issue? How does this character move through this space? And I hope people like it.
And I will say the inciting moment that happens for your solo, it's really one of your first solos on the show. It's so beautiful, and it's such an unexpected song choice for it, which I think makes it even a better moment for audiences and viewers to watch, because the song choice, literally, I had to go, wait, what is this song? And all I'm going to say is just make sure you watch next week's episode.
It's a gorgeous song because not only musically is it the melody's beautiful, but it goes back to like the poetry of Black artists from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it goes to the poetry of the pain, the poetry of pain that has come about from a very challenging period of time. And repurposing that in a way that can inspire storytelling in the present day. And that's what I'm like, wow, I can't believe we chose this song. And I'm so grateful and so lucky to be, serving this story.
I will say I watched the performance twice because I was just blown away with the song choice in your performance. So I can't wait for people to watch it and the reaction on social media next week for when the episode goes live. I do want to ask two kind of follow-ups with Tobin. Where do you hope Tobin is towards the end of the season? And is there a song or an artist that you're dying to perform on the show?
There's a song and artist I'm dying to perform. Yes. I would love to do one of two things. I would love to do a really slow, like croony ballad, or I'd love to do like a sexy banger of like with like an upbeat one, for sure. Like those are two. I'm talking about like
for some reason I thought I'd get like Green Day out of you, or like.
No, I mean I would be so down for Green Day.
Yeah.
I would be so down for I although Don't Speak was a little bit in the Green Day sort of category. So like I love that style, but just to like mix it up a little bit, like I'm talking like Nat King Cole to Usher to
Usher. I would love to see you do Usher. That'd be awesome.
I would love to do Usher too. Usher would be so fun, especially for like a sexy upbeat song. I would love to do that. And for like a slower, honestly, I adore like the slower Beatles songs, like In My Life, See Me, stuff that like middle of the album stuff that not a ton of people know.
Have we had any Beatles on the show yet?
Well, we had Help,
Help was on there, yes.
We had Help, but I'd have to go through the songs again to see what other Beatles, but I'm not sure. I don't think there's been another Beatles. I'm sure Beatles are hard to get though, to be honest.
As someone that works in the music industry, most likely yes.
Yeah. Paul's like, I don't know, I need to see the concept. Yeah. Someone needs to write a letter, and I'm like, all right, cool.
He'd be a good guest star though.
Paul McCartney? Yeah.
He's like the number one guest artist for the show.
The best get ever. Like, was like, we got Paul McCartney to play Tobin's step grandfather. Like
done. Everyone's gonna send in like social media requests for this next week.
Yeah, I know.
So with that, where do you want to see Tobin go? Where would you like to see his character arc go?
I think what I love about Tobin is that he has so many areas of where he needs to still learn and grow. So, in this coming up episode, we talk about race, and I think he makes some strides in it. I think he needs to like figure out how like his sexism, to put it blankly. I think he needs to figure that out. I think he needs to do work. I think he needs to put in the work because I think truly I don't think truly deep down inside Tobin is a sexist person.
Yeah.
I think there's been like a veneer of who he's hung out with to what he thinks is cool and right. You know, I think
he likes getting the laugh.
Yeah, he likes getting the laugh more than anything else because he's dying to be approved of.
Mm-hmm.
He's dying. And what he needs to realize, I think, is that it can't come at the expense of people around him, especially women.
Yeah.
And I think I'm excited to see his growth. I'm
excited to see if Tobin can start to respect boundaries a little bit.
Yes, totally. And I think it's going to be a combination of him putting in the work himself and him hanging out around the right people to do that. So I think Zoey's a great influence. And I think part of the reason why, you know, Tobin regressed a little bit in the beginning of the season is because Zoey was gone and he had been such great progress. And then all of a sudden, unchecked, right? There's no Joan, or Joan is like, you know, on her way out to move.
Off to Singapore.
And Leaf is the only person there. There's no Max. So all of a sudden, there's no one to check Tobin. And there's no one to like, you know, there's no one like that, like figure like Zoey. Not that I'm saying that he absolutely should be doing this himself, but I'm just saying that like, it just shows how important Zoey was to his growth that first season.
He does well with the grounding force in his life.
Absolutely. And like, I'm not sure if Leaf's the grounding force. And clearly he hasn't been, you know? So like, you know, I'm excited to see where that force comes from and like, where's that force gonna come from in the future?
And of course, I've got to ask, are you team Max or team Simon? Got to ask the question.
I'm team. This is so hard. I think, to be honest, I'm team Max. I'm team Max because I think because I think Simon has to go through his own journey if he and Zoey are to get together. And Zoey needs to go through her own journey. Where they are right now, I think that I would be team Max simply because it's like the person that knows Zoey the best is Max. And I think the person who can understand her in that level is absolutely Max. But I'm not saying that at another point in time, because people are always growing and changing.
Yep.
So if something happens that like leads Max down this whole other thing where he's like, okay, well, no, Max is not the right person for her. Look at what he's doing. And then maybe I'm like, no. But there were moments last year that I thought that Simon was right because I'm like, she needs this sort of presence and he needs her to sort of like understand his own grief better too. So I think it was like right for that they needed each other. But I think this season for sure, I think I'm heartbroken that they broke up.
Well, Kapil, thank you so much for joining iHeartRadio Broadway. To those that watch Zoey, if you haven't watched it, you can start streaming it now. It's on every Tuesday night on NBC. I will say I'm a huge fan, if you can tell by my questions. It is a great show to watch during the week. It has so much heart and so much humor, and it's something for everyone. So, Kapil, thank you so much.
Thanks, SJ. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.